Dear viewing audience, dear Airsofters, I want you to imagine now for a moment that you are playing in a night game of Airsoft. You sneak low and quietly through the darkness, pacing yourself, making sure not to make any noise that would give your position away. As your friendlies cast a large flashlight beam over the hillside, you see two enemies, and then their light cuts out. You pull the trigger, you hear hit, you then move over, and you guess, roughly, where the next enemy is. You shoot again, you hear hit again. This is the fantasy of night games. This was my experience at Black Ops South Sound, but this wasn't actually my first night game experience at Black Ops South Sound. Before I had this very fun experience, I also had one other night game. In my first night game, what actually happened was I ran to the objective, tried to use my flashlight, and the moment the beam came on, I was lit up by 3 to 4 other players.
Hit, ah!
Right? So I figured I'd try again. I tried another area. Again, I tried to use my white light. This time I got up real close, I snuck up, I used my white light, and again, I was instantly taken out with a shot to the head.
Hit, ah!
My third attempt, I hooked very close to our spawn, and again, once I reached the middle point, a little bit far away from my spawn, I was again shot immediately, this time without even triggering my white light.
Hit, somehow. Okay.
This is the inherent problem in night games. How do you balance the moment that you cast any sort of light, everyone around you knows where it's at? This is something that I have kind of been thinking about for quite a while. I want to actually host some night games eventually at my field, but I don't want players to feel like they have to fork out thousands of dollars on night vision equipment in order to be semi-competitive. So my working theory is to be placing a lot of spotlights everywhere to hopefully bring the ambient light level of the field out, but still there will be some shadow spots that players can make use of, but it won't be so debilitating that you're just basically walking with a black sheet in front of your face. The other huge factor here too is night vision. It is a crazy, absolutely insane difference. I actually had the privilege of getting to peer through a PVS-14 and a dual night vision binocular setup, and the amount of light that you can perceive in the natural world is truly incredible. But unfortunately, there is that huge price difference, and a lot of airsofters are coming into the game with a $200 gun and maybe a $100 white flashlight if they're lucky. A white flashlight that's going to get them killed if they use it. And as cool as night vision is, and I do love it, I do think there needs to be an equal amount of players on both teams using night vision for it to be fair. Short of that, the advantage is so severe that I think the only way to reasonably balance it to make it a fun game for everyone, which again, Airsoft is a game, I think is possibly to ban night vision outright. And I do think there are going to be a lot of people that don't want to hear the option of night vision goggles being banned because, hey, they paid that money, they should be able to get to use it. But there is a key thing that I think gets lost when it becomes about night vision versus not night vision. That second Airsoft game I talked about was a situation where I don't think I was encountering night vision players on the field because I got lucky in a spot where they did not happen to exist. And there was a lot of fun to be had and a lot of very unique strategies that get employed when no one has night vision. And I think that gameplay style is worth preserving and worth keeping around. In a milsim context though, I do get the usage of night vision goggles a lot more. It makes sense, it's what the military uses, it's there for that tactical realism, it is there in a situation where it can be used, and it does actually make walking around sometimes somewhat safer. But I think in casual games, we could really gain a lot from not having players use it and instead evening out that playing field. Another element that was a real challenge on the airsoft field was team identification in the dark, and there's no real color to be able to tell whose team is what. You can use challenge phrases and words, and there was a lot of strategies, but at the end of the day, there was a lot of people getting friendly fired in the back. One idea that I did have that I was actually inspired by BattleBit, of all places, was to actually use 2 different colored glow sticks attached somewhere on the body as a means of team identification in the dark. Now, here's another thing though, is light travels very, very far in the dark, and everyone will basically be able to see everyone in the dark with a glow stick attached to the arm, and not all the players are going to be up for doing that. However, if everyone has it, I think it will even out that playing field a lot. And these are just some of the thoughts I kind of had on airsoft night games. I don't think there's a real clear answer, and I think it's a lot more dependent on what experience you're looking to get out of the game, and what experience airsoft game companies and fields are looking to provide. And finally, I did want to ask what you guys think. Do you think my idea of banning night vision goggles is way too extreme for any airsoft night game? Or do you think that airsoft games should be kept more of a game? They should be as even as you can reasonably make it. Or do you think that we should have a lot more lights at night games because lights are pretty and very fun? It's not something where I'm super decided one way or another. I do think there should be spaces for those people that do invest that money to use night vision goggles, but at the same time, I do see it being a huge power imbalance when it comes to actually making it a game that people are paying for to have fun at. Anyways, that's going to be all for today, guys. Have a great day, don't be a cheater, and